Hello friends, this is Adam with MovieGuy365, and today I'm going to review the Freddie Mercury Queen biopic, Bohemian Rhapsody. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I put out videos daily. So I had a chance to see Bohemian Rhapsody. Just for starters, I'm a huge Queen fan. I love Queen. I've been a big fan of the band since I was like 10 years old, and it really clicked for me, especially when the movie Highlander came out, and like they had a whole album with that movie. And from there, I really just embraced the music, and I always found it to be fun. It was very experimental, and I really enjoy their music. And throughout the years, you know, of course, you see them pop up in pop culture, things like Wayne's World and, you know, that kind of thing. And, you know, it's been around. And I know they've talked about putting a movie together for years. And I know there was like a lot of resistance to it because, you know, they didn't want to portray Mercury the way he really was, that kind of thing, you know, signs of the times, that kind of thing. And I really feel that now is probably a great time to do a movie on that. And I know there was also like Sacha Baron Cohen was involved in the early process, and he wanted to really get into the dirt and grit of, you know, who Mercury was, that kind of thing. And I believe the band was trying to push for more of a, not so much family friendly, but a, you know, a more PG-13 telling of the story. And I understand the sides of both the argument, and I want to say that after seeing Bohemian Rhapsody, I thought this was an excellent film. You know, of course, I'm probably a little biased because I do love the music so much, but I felt that, you know, and that's the thing when it comes to biopics, there are people that have two schools of thought. You know, you have like they really want everything thrown into, you know, all the good, the bad, and the ugly thrown in. Doesn't matter. You know, truth is what we need, and we need that represented on film. And then you have the other side where it's like, you know, they take away too much, and it's almost become a sanitized version of like, if big events have happened in a person's life and you don't talk about them, that to me is poor storytelling. So I like to think we got somewhere in the middle here. And I feel it's an excellent representation of especially Mercury, but the band as a whole. You know, there was a lot going on there that the public wasn't aware of, and it was subjected to gossip and, you know, tabloid and paparazzi kind of thing. But I feel that very, very underappreciated do I feel like Queen is. It's just, you know, I know there was towards the end of his life, you know, he kind of shied away from America because of whatever. Those moments are touched upon in the film, and you know, it's kind of hard to really strike a balance. But I feel they did that here, and I felt that the audience I was seeing the movie with was very engaged and seemed to enjoy it. And you know, I know it's another thing with biopics. I don't know, spoilers are not really a thing. You know, I mean. So, just to jump to the end for a second, I'm glad they didn't end it with something like Mercury on his deathbed. I think that would have probably destroyed the spirit of the film. I think everybody knows that he passed. Everybody knows how he passed, and they addressed that in the film. And I felt that them ending it at Live Aid was not only the right call, but it was an emotional send-off to Mercury. And I'm not gonna lie, I got a little teary-eyed when the last, you know, 15 minutes of the film hit, and you know, they show him playing at Live Aid, and the whole movie is a lead up to why he's there and why his reasons were for doing it and why he wanted Queen to do it. And it got emotional for me. And once again, I'm probably biased because of my love for the music, but it's absolutely, you know, it's not so much heartbreaking, but you feel the emotion through the music. And Rami Malek's performance as Mercury on stage at Live Aid, I think was probably the best last 15 minutes of film this year. It was a great way to end the movie. They do touch on a lot of aspects of his life. Do I feel like there was anything that they missed? Sure. Nobody's going to be 100% happy, especially with biopics. As I said before, it's really, nobody's going to be 100% happy. They're going to leave stuff out, but I've seen these types of movies before where they pretty much leave out the entire shady history of a character, or of a person rather. And it doesn't do anybody justice. I think this one did a good job, especially considering how, I've constantly read throughout my life that, Queen wanted to shy away from Mercury's sexuality themselves. And, to see them actually embrace it and talk about it and show, who he was, I feel it's very forward thinking, and it's overall a beautifully done movie, and it's well worth, I think, the time spent. It clocks in at about 2:20, I believe, 2 hours, 20 minutes. For me, it felt less. It felt less. There wasn't any point where I was checking my watch. I was engaged throughout. And, there was, to see the rise and fall of a person and subsequent re-rise. And I think they did all of it justice. And, and even though this is kind of it got a little cartoony at one point where, well, not so much that, but it was like there is a quote unquote villain type in the movie, and he's there, and I know he was part of Mercury's life, but then like you confirm your feelings about him when he goes off onto the tabloid shows and he starts spilling his guts. He doesn't do that for any other reason than, what Freddie came to realize was that, he was the person he was. And I think that leads to his reuniting with Queen, and it was so good. I mean, it's a good movie. It's excellent. As I said, I got very emotional. I felt that the Live Aid was definitely one of the best parts of the film. And I'm glad they ended it where that was, and they didn't go another direction. But I recommend this. Now, also being the theater kind of person that I am, once again, I think I would recommend seeing this in IMAX just for the Live Aid scene. I think would be pretty phenomenal. Especially, I'm not sure, but especially if there were scenes that were shot in IMAX for that sequence. I wish I had a closer IMAX to me. Unfortunately, that's just, I can't drive an hour plus just to get to an IMAX. But, I'm hoping that one day that'll change and I can see more films in IMAX. So I have to be very selective. But if you can see it in IMAX, I think you're going to get so much out of it, especially the last half hour or so. But I highly recommend Bohemian Rhapsody. I think it's a good film. If you're a fan of Queen, if you're looking for a heavy in-depth, save that for a documentary. Find a documentary and get into that. If you're looking for a good, entertaining movie about Freddie Mercury's life, Queen, I think you're going to do well by this movie. Despite what Bryan Singer, the director, his thing is, it's still a decent movie. I would highly recommend it. I'm going to pick it up myself when it comes out, 4K all the way. But yeah, I highly recommend Bohemian Rhapsody. Invest the time. If you're even a little bit of a fan of Queen and their music, do yourself a favor, see it. I think I heard most of the songs that I wanted to hear, so they're in there. So yeah, that's pretty much going to do it. Leave your comments below. If you saw Bohemian Rhapsody, what were your thoughts? So until next time, please leave your like, your subscribe, hit that bell notification. Until next time, this is Adam with MovieGuy365. I will see you at the movies.